In 2012, a red fox was photographed sleeping on the 72nd floor of a skyscraper under construction in London. It had climbed there on its own. Nobody brought it up. Nobody left food. It just went up to see what was there. That fox is not an anomaly. Most people assume that when wild animals appear in cities, something has gone wrong. We destroyed their habitat. We pushed into their territory. They had nowhere left to go and ended up on our doorsteps by default. That framing puts humans at the center of the story as the cause and the animals as the consequence. The research suggests the relationship is considerably more complicated than that. Some animals are not ending up near humans. They are choosing us, and they have been doing it long enough that the choice has started to show up in their biology. The term researchers use is synanthropic, from the Greek meaning living together with humans. It describes species that don't merely tolerate urban environments, but actively thrive in them. Coyotes, red foxes, raccoons, peregrine falcons, certain crow populations. These are not animals that stumbled into cities and made the best of a bad situation. These are animals whose populations are larger, healthier, and in several documented cases, measurably smarter in urban environments than in the wild. A study published in Animal Cognition tested raccoons from rural and urban populations on the same problem-solving tasks. The urban raccoons solved them faster, tried more approaches when the first one failed, and showed significantly less hesitation when confronted with unfamiliar objects. The researchers were careful about the language they used. They didn't call the urban raccoons smarter. They called them more behaviorally flexible. But the gap was consistent, and it pointed in one direction. Something about proximity to humans was sharpening them. Urban coyotes in North America live on average twice as long as their rural counterparts. They have larger home ranges, more stable pack structures, and lower mortality rates from starvation. They are not scavenging at the margins of human life. They are operating inside it with a level of precision that took generations to develop. Researchers tracking coyote movement in Chicago found that urban coyotes cross roads almost exclusively at night, avoid high-traffic periods with near-perfect consistency, and have mental maps of the city that account for human behavioral patterns the way a rural coyote's map accounts for terrain. They didn't learn this from watching one car. The knowledge accumulated, it transferred, it became the default setting for coyotes born into that environment, the same mechanism that makes every other form of inherited learning work. Peregrine falcons are perhaps the clearest case. Their natural hunting strategy requires height, open sight lines, and the ability to enter a dive at speeds exceeding 200 miles per hour. City skyscrapers replicate cliff faces with a precision the falcons appear to have recognized immediately. The first recorded urban peregrine nest in North America appeared in 1987 on a Montreal bridge. By 2020, there were documented nesting pairs in over 40 major North American cities. The falcon did not adapt to the city over centuries. It identified the structural logic of the city, recognized that the logic matched something it already knew how to use, and moved in. What this adds up to is something that sits uncomfortably against the standard narrative of human impact on wildlife. We tend to think of our presence as subtraction. We take habitat, we take food sources, we take safety. And for many species, that is exactly what we are. But for a specific category of animal, the ones behaviorally flexible enough to run a different calculation, we are also something else entirely. We are infrastructure. We build at scale. We generate waste in volumes no natural system produces. We create thermal environments, light environments, acoustic environments that certain species have learned to read and exploit with the same precision they apply to anything else in the natural world. The red fox on the 72nd floor wasn't lost. It wasn't confused. It was doing what foxes have always done, climbing to the highest available point to assess the territory below. It looked out over London and saw exactly what it came to see. The question researchers are still working on is how deliberate any of this is. Whether synanthropic animals are making something that resembles a choice or simply following pressure gradients the way water follows gravity. The honest answer is that the line between those two things is thinner than it looks, and the animals living at the edge of our cities, watching us from ledges we didn't know they'd found, are not waiting for us to answer it.